Good morning from Sweden. I hope you are well. Today is January the 29th, 2026, and this is today's morning reflection using the I Ching. So to note is that this is not a prediction. This is a guide into the energies around us today and how to navigate them best. So take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? So we're starting by grounding ourselves and releasing old energies, bringing ourselves into the present moment. And we do this by placing our feet firmly on the ground below us, unless you sit in lotus seat. If you're on a chair, if you're standing up, you might be walking, okay? Feel like you got tree roots growing into the center of the earth, and then take a deep breath in into the stomach, feeling it expand in all around the back to side, and your spine rises to the sky, connecting to the universe above. So, and then as you breathe out, you relax, your seat becomes heavier. You're grounding yourself. So now you're almost like a conductor in between, or you are a conductor in between the universe and Mother Earth. So heaven and earth. So we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. And how you do this is you breathe in through the nose, breathe in. But first, actually, we're releasing air out. So we're emptying our lungs out of old chi, old stagnant energy, old stagnant air, and then we breathe in through the nose, filling the lungs all the way up, and then breathe out through a pinhole through the lips. Releasing fresh chi, not fresh chi, releasing old energies, releasing old thoughts, repetitive thoughts, bringing you into the present moment. And then take another 2 breaths on your own time. Breathing in fresh chi, fresh air. Releasing the past, bringing yourself into this present moment. So let's have a look. So what are the energies around us right now? And how do we best navigate them to get the smoothest path forward? Smoothest and most joyful path forward, okay? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, and lake. So we got heaven. In heaven, that's the inner gua here. Oh, actually, use the middle here. It's the inner gua. And heaven is all yang, okay? So all solid lines. So let's ask about the outer gua, the upper part of this hexagram. How does the energy look like today, and how do we best navigate to have the smoothest and most joyful path forward? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. And we got lake. So we've got Kian, Tui, and Tui's got 1. So we had this one a few days ago. We got all yang, and there's just 1 yin line resting on top. So we got lake over heaven. So heaven within, lake without. So lake is actually related to joy, or is joyous, okay? And Kian is heaven. And we've got lots of young lines, which means there's actions going on, but we've got the lake, which is water, which is nourishment or replenishment. We need water for life, right? So, and heaven is a rising, it's like it's up, it goes up, it is above us, right? And lake is a sinking power, so they're sort of uniting in some sort of way. But we've got a lake above heaven, up in heaven, so it's going to be interesting to see what we got there. Okay, so let's see which line is changing, or where we are in the progress or process, or the process of this hexagram, and what we are sort of heading into. What is the strongest energy currently within this hexagram? Let's see, and what is it changing into? So, and that's the first 9. Get that? So, we all recognize both these. So we got yin at the top, yin at the bottom, and then we've got all young lines. I think this might be returning, but let's have a look at that. So we've got still Dui, and again, I'm so sorry about the pronunciation. And at the bottom, we have got wind or wood, which is, and I'd say in this case, it would be wood, but it's Sun. It feels like tree roots growing into the water, or tree rising out of the water. It's like, you get these trees that live by the water, and they actually, like at rivers or lakes, and they grow out of the sun, actually out of the water. That's what I'm seeing with this one. And then we're going to look at what's sort of hidden beneath, and we've got all young. So it's the approach is Qian, which is the first approach. It's the first hexagram in the whole of the I Ching, and it's initiating. So this is the beginning. So that's underneath. So we're definitely in the beginning of a cycle. We're returning to what we are in true essence. And we need to do this with joy. So Dui brings joy to the situation. And we have lots of powerful energies here, actually, creative energies. So let's have a look more specifically at these. We got Dui at top and Qian, which is 43. And again, 43. No, what am I saying? It's not 43. It's not Qian. So, and the second is Dui and Sun, which is 28. 28. And then we got the first one, Qian, which is initiating. I think this is returning, but let's double check that. And 43 is also, let's have a look at that first. Could be a little exceeding. Increasing or decreasing. No, eliminating, removing. Okay, so we're still in that. That's what it is. Yeah, of course. So all the young lines rising, eliminating the yin. So we're taking away what does not serve us anywhere else. We still got some remnants of things in our behavior patterns, I'd say, that we need to remove in order to be able to move forward in the best way. And then 28 is, no, 24 is turning back. So nourishing, great exceeding. And it's taking extraordinary action. Yeah, that keeps on coming back. Okay, so we've got the same type of energy, but it's like in the beginning of the year, it was all about cutting away. It's about cutting away, leaving behind, And we had eliminating, but we also had like abolishing the old kept on coming in. We had that at the end. I had that at the end of the year as well. I only started doing these readings for YouTube in the beginning of this year. But previously, abolishing the old has been a big one throughout the last few months of last year as well. But we're really seeing a different pattern here now. It's like we've got the initiating. So we have moved into a new cycle. Although we still we have some leftover patterns that we need to remove. And in order to do those, we need to take extraordinary action. And I think this reading today feels like it's very much about us. It's always about us, right? What you see within is also what you experience without. Okay, so it's all one. We are not separate from the great everything, right? The great universe, or the layers of universe, or the great existence. I don't know what to call it. We are not separate from that. We are part of that. So what we are experiencing without is also going on within us. But it really, I have a feeling this one is really to go in and look at what is it that you need to eliminate within you. What are your patterns? This is not so much about removing external things. It's very much about removing the residual. Sorry, I might have touched the microphone there. The residual, about removing residual behavioural patterns that no longer serves us, okay? That has in the past been essential for us survival, but now they're just holding us back, okay? And as I say that from the past, I read from the remote past. So what does it mean? So here's a hand, and here is an object of some sort, and it's been cut in half. So when we cut in half, we separate and we eliminate, we take bits away, okay? So this is what it's talking about. Okay. When increase continues to excess, surely it will burst. Thus, after increasing, eliminating, hesitation follow. We had great exceeding. It was part of, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I had this feeling it was like everything was rising to the top, and it was like it's something about to burst, right? Because there are blockages, like all these patterns we have, they become blockages, energy blockages, and it becomes too much pressure. And what happens here is like a cloud burst. It could be a cloud burst, and it could be the rain, waiting for the rain to come down, and it's not yet there, right? We're also talking about eliminate hesitation. Is this something you hesitate to do currently? In order to actually, so what this gua or this hexagram is talking about is we need to eliminate, but in order to eliminate, it's very difficult because all our patterns and all our behavior is so deeply set in our unconsciousness or subconsciousness. And it's very difficult to change that. But for do that, we need to actually come into a point where we stop hesitating and stop doubting ourselves, and then also make a resolution. Okay, this is the day. I've had enough. This is when I'm changing this, because we've actually see clearly what the problem is. Like it's been lifted to the surface so many times, what the problem is. So I think we're at the point now we see clearly what it is that we do that do not serve us anymore, what the blockage is. Okay, so now's the time to make a resolution and start changing. And by changing, we want to transmute. Quite often there are emotions. So maybe we carry a lot of anger for something that happened in the past. And then, so we need to transmute this anger into forgiveness and acceptance more than forgiveness, maybe, or both of them. And forgiveness does not, to forgive a person or to forgive a situation or forgive yourself well, to forgive yourself is to forgive yourself, but a person doesn't mean you accept the behavior, right? It's not like, oh, that was okay, I forgive you, we need to be best friends now. You can very, very well keep that person far ahead. But if you don't forgive and move on, you keep on going on and on and on, repeating the suffering, the pain that was created for you. So the only one you're harming, or the one you're harming the most, is yourself, okay? So this is the reason why we need to accept what has happened and to forgive what has happened so we can move forward, okay? And this is a long process. And it comes with a lot of grief. And we've had a lot of readings with lots of metal elements. And the metal element in this last few weeks, the metal element is all about, it's not all about, but it's actually is related to the lungs and is related to the emotion of grief. And then when we have too much grief, many times we're holding on to it, it might rise to the surface as anger, which is related to the wood element. And that could, it's showing up in me. I notice it in like really tight neck and shoulders. It's like this, all the way up. And then so like if you've got lots of tight neck and shoulders and you feel like you've got this rising anger, that might be the reason for that. And then the underlying, if we start looking at this anger, it's actually grief somewhere of being hurt or being left behind, not heard, being harmed in some sort of way by a person that you did trust, somebody who didn't be there for you when they should have been, right? This is all grief we carry, and these patterns keeps on repeating in our life until we start seeing it, okay? Anyway, let's have a look at eliminating. I think it might be metal, to be honest. Let's see. Encountering is metal. Yeah, it is. Eliminating metal. It's a cutting, of course. So, guai, and then metal. It's still this to release. But we need to start with making a great resolution. Okay, this is it. This is the time I'm leaving that behind. And actually for us now, we are stepping into something. We are already stepping into something. We're at the beginning of this cycle. So we have left the old cycle, but we don't want to bring old patterns and behaviors into this new cycle, because then we might just end up in the same spot again a few years ahead, when we realize we're doing the same thing again, because we're bringing these old patterns with us. So it's time now to cut away. So it is time for the righteous to eliminate the inferior forces and their influences through an act of resolution. So the inferior forces are things that no longer serve you, okay? Something you needed before. And I know exactly what this is for me, definitely. I lived in a situation for a long time where I had to be ready to fix things. I constantly was on red alert for years and years and years, and had to juggle a million things and make sure a whole life didn't cave in. We didn't lose everything, like constantly. It was in that situation. And I still have that behavior, like I'm ready to leap, to fix, to do. Like I noticed how that is still ingrained in me. And now I just need to realize that it's safe to start resting. Still remaining alert, not just stopping and not doing anything, but not being this ready up in arms, constantly ready to fix something. I need to move out of that. I still have that behavior. Not as strongly as it was before, but it's still, yeah, definitely. So today, my resolution is to let go of what I cannot control. That's my resolution, yeah. What is your resolution? What do you need to change? What is it that you need to leave behind? Think about that and then write it down. Okay, let's read the decision. Eliminating, declaring at the king's court, sincerely howling, there is adversity. Notify one's own city, unfavorable to use arms, favorable to have somewhere to go, okay? Yeah, so what it's talking about is that don't make a big fuss. So if you do, like declaring a king's court, sincerely howling, sounding a lot and talking about it, then that's not very good. You need to notify one's own cities. You need to be open and sincere, and actually with the people around you that are important to you and people you can trust. Definitely speak to them. Don't go around and go, oh, I'm changing my life, blah, blah, blah. That's not good, okay? To everyone, right? But just surround yourself with the people that you trust, and then be open and honest with them. And then do not be angry. So unfavorable to use arms. This is not the time for a war. This is really not the time for war. This is time for more, for a silent change, silent or a calm, not silent necessarily, but not very loud, but a peaceful resolution within yourself to change, to remove what no longer serves. So metal is a cutting, like it's like a sword cuts away. A knife has got metal, it cuts away, right? So this is the metal element, so we need to cut that away. But we're not being angry, we're not shouting, screaming, we're not cutting away in anger. We are not using arms. Peace and compassion, okay? Compassion towards yourself is very important right now. Allow yourself, it's going to rise to the surface again. Like when we live in eliminating all patterns, it's going to repeatedly coming back again, usually. And it becomes softer and softer for every time we see it. So when it rises, you're starting to notice that you have this behavior. It's coming again, right? Whatever it is for you. And you see it and you notice it and go, I did that again. And then you can take a few cleansing breaths is very good here actually. Or just a few breaths into your stomach and then sinking down into the arms of Mother Earth and trusting heaven that it's got your back, right? The universe has got your back. Favorable to have somewhere to go. So we are actually moving forward. We're not staying stuck, although we're doing it peacefully, okay? Little steps. Eliminating, it is a resolution to eliminate something. The firm's eliminator yielding, strong and joyous. This is the lake energy here, strong and joyous. Okay, we are strong, like a central, at the center we are strong and we are joyous outside. We need to find this joy within, okay? This is where we need to eliminate things. Eliminate with harmony, declaring at the king's court a yielding mounts on 5 firms. Sincerely howling, there's adversity. Exposing the danger is to make the elimination brilliant. Exposing the danger, okay? Really look, that's what's coming up at your behavior. What's going on? Okay, oh no, I did that again. Breathe in, sink down into the arms of Mother Earth. Look at it, exposing the danger. Brilliant. Putting a light on what's rising, right? And then for every time we do that, it becomes softer and softer. And eventually we'll stop doing that. We'll shift into a different type of behavior pattern and creating a different future. Notify one's own city, unfavorable to use arms. Relying on arms, there is no way out, okay? So we're not going to war here. Favorable to have somewhere to go. After the firm grows, the elimination will be ended. So when we come into this, which is bubbling underneath the surface, it's the hidden energy, right? So this, and when these have eliminated the top there, we're coming into Kyan and we really can create. This is the seed of creation. Right? This is, and then we can really start creating a new future. So it's just this little bit. Commentary on the symbol, water. So the symbol is this one. Water of the lake accumulates in heaven, so lake above heaven. An image of eliminating. In correspondence with this, the superior person bestows his wealth upon those below him and considers not his own merits. Yeah, this is, again, like, we're not going, oh, look at me, I'm changing, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're not howling, we're not declaring at the king's court, look at me, blah, blah. That's not it. We are cultivating our own merits, and then we are sharing them with the people below us or beside us or people around us, right? So by finding our own peace and our own joy, we can then share it with others, okay? And this is not, in the long run, not actually for us, although we need to look after ourselves. But this is for us and everyone around us, okay? For all sentient beings. So let's have a look at the changing line, which is the bottom, the initial 9, strengthening the forward toes, going forward, unable to compete. Instead becomes a fault. Unable to compete, still going forward. This is a fault. Okay, the forward toes. So there's like something stopping us at the moment. So we're not, so at this point, we're being guided not to move forward because there's something stopping us. Let's have a look at it more deeply. The Yao text for this bottom line is that this gua is the same as for the bottom line of the great strength. In great strength, there are 4 yang elements and 2 yin elements at the top. Here, the 5 yang elements and only 1 yin element at the top. The yang element of this gua has proceeded 1 step further than that of great strength. The lower gua is Qian, the root of all strength. Okay. Yeah, Qian, which is the ultimate yang, is all yang. Okay, so this is like where it's action, isn't it? Yang is all action, is strength, it's initiating, it's creation, okay? Thus, the Yao text for the bottom line says, strengthening the forward toes. One at this place intend to move forward to eliminate the evil. Nevertheless, he's too weak, owning to his being at the beginning stage. His spirit is willing, but his flesh is weak. His will is unable to give him strength to do what he wants to do. The time and situation are not appropriate. So right now, we are looking at what the problem is and just quietly, actually starting. So when you're realizing that you're, we don't have the strength to do a big cut, right? But do as guided. If you feel that this resonates, is that when it rises, or you're realizing you're going back into the old patterns, look at it and go, and then rest down, breathe into the stomach, and then, because then you just illuminated it, okay? And then for every time it rises, just do this silently, okay? We're not declaring at King's Court. So 28, so it's eliminated, alternate to great exceeding, which is 28. Let's have a look at that. It's also metal, metal, great exceeding. And here it's talking about, so the one before is nourishing. Without nourishing, it is impossible to take action. Thus, after nourishing, great exceeding follows. And like water, the lake is, we need water to live, right? We can only live a few days without water. Otherwise we will die. Yeah, so a decision. Great exceeding, the ridge pole sags, favorable to have somewhere to go, prosperous and smooth. Okay, so it's talking about a building that is doesn't have very strong grounding, what do you call it, foundations. So it all sags, okay? Let's have a look at the commentary. Great exceeding indicates that the exceeding is great. The ridge pole sags, 2 ends are weak. The firm exceeds the yielding at the central place. Smooth and joyous in action, favorable to have somewhere to go. There is success. Truly great is the time of great exceeding. And then let's have a look at the commentary of the symbol. The lake rises over the tree. See, this is what I was talking about. It's like a, a tree that sort of roots down actually at the edge of the water, so it's actually in the water. An image of great exceeding. In correspondence with this, the superior person stands alone without fear and withdraws from the world with no depression. So in a time like this, when we are changing our own patterns, and removing, we are standing alone, because this is something we have to do for ourselves. This, of course, we can take help from others as well, but essentially it's the work that you have to do. And don't be fearful in doing this, okay? Actually really look at your behavior and really start to change, illuminate it, and then to eliminate. And this is work that you have to do, but there is there is no depression, okay? So we've got lake above here, both. And that's joyous. And it's got a firm center. Make sure we've got a firm center. And to get into balance is the breath, okay? To strengthen yourself, when you're noticing you become wobbly, you react in the same way that you usually do. Breathe in through the nose, into the stomach, feel the stomach expand, and then really root down into Mother Earth below, and then breathe out through, up in all through your lips, releasing tension, and then go about your way. Keep on catching every time you are reacting in a way that is no longer appropriate, that just is a hindrance for you. And this, well, eventually what's bubbling underneath, it's waiting, it's going, come on, it's time for this new. What are you doing? Why holding on to all this old stuff that no longer serves? We want to start. The seed is here to create a new life, a new beautiful life. So come on, let's do it. Okay, so it's bubbling underneath here and urging us on, okay? Because this is what's coming. This is what's coming. And this is where we are here, although we still need to remove some stuff, okay? And Gyan is heaven. Of course, it's double heavens as one of the primary hexagrams, and this is the beginning of the I Ching, and it's the beginning of all life, all creation, everything, every little thought, everything. So Gyan, make sure that the seed that you sow are seeds of love and compassion, and don't come from a distorted mind, which is angry and hateful. Okay. Anyway, this was the reading for today. I hope it was a benefit. I'm wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow again.